So step one, claim that Google My Business listing, get it dialed in, leverage the posts, respond to reviews. Step two is to build citations and consistency of your name, address, phone number across the web. Right? What we're finding is the companies that have lots of authority, and Google looks at a citation as a reference of your company on authoritative sites as a vote in your favor. Now that vote only really works when there's consistency, right? So that's where we can leverage some cool tools to make sure that there's consistency of that name, address, phone number. I'm going to give you guys a resource that you can put in your company's name, phone number, and address, and it will scan the web and tell you, is there inconsistency? Are there issues that need to be addressed? Now, the other thing is you really want to limit duplicate and incorrect business information. So, if there's 2 or 3 references of your company on Google Maps, that's an issue, unless there's a legitimate second or third location. If your secondary listings, so we think about Google and Yahoo and Bing and City Search and Angie's List, these are like your tier 1 major listings, but there's lots of little secondary listings like vertical directories and random versions of Yellow Pages and like sites like Hot Frog and Kudzu that have a relative authority, and there's lots of bad information on those sites. So you want to spend the time to really track down the inconsistency and get it as tight as possible. And you want to pay attention to your what they call data aggregators. There are 4 major data aggregators: Factual, Axiom, Infogroup, Newstar, that basically grab all of the name, address, phone number, details of pretty much every company in the United States and internationally, and all of them push to other sites. So if you've never added yourself to any of these data aggregators, it could be that you got added somewhere once with one piece of information and it got, let's say, onto Infogroup. And now Infogroup is passing that wrong information across to 300 plus sites. So one of the best things you can do is get to the aggregator level, make sure that you're correct there, and then of course manually adjust your main listings like your Google and your Yelp and your Angie's List, and then use a tool like Yext to really make sure that you've got concrete consistency across the internet. So some of the best tools for this, in my opinion, you've got Bright Local, you've got Whitespark, you've got Advice Local, you've got Moz Local, and then you've got Yext. I am at this point, we are Yext certified partners. I love the fact on Yext we can go in, we can update it once, and we can have it automatically update the data aggregators, update the top 50 plus online directory listings, and suppress incorrect data. I was fighting against this for years. So if you go back to this same training 3-4 years ago about Google Maps, I was like, hey, listen, Yext, don't do it. They can set you up and then they delete your listings, and it can be all kinds of problems. You're much better to do it manually. After serious evaluation, testing, measuring, it became very clear Yext has all of the correct APIs. They're directly connected to the important online directory listings that feed the tier 2 and tier 3 directory listings. And it's immediate uptime. So manually you can go into these listings and you can update them, but there's a verification process. A lot of times you'll update a listing and then it still reverts back to the old listing. And when we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of online listings, you could spend a lot of time and a lot of energy updating listings without getting the result. And what you as a plumbing or HVAC contractor want is correct name, address, phone number across the web with rankings moving up relatively quickly. And so that's where I believe, if we look at it as a formula, we manually control our Google My Business listing and our Yelp listing and our Angie's List listing. We make sure that those top 5 or 6 directories are claimed, controlled under one username and password that's shared across. And then we use a tool like Yext to push out to the major directories to clean up duplicates and to suppress. And then we leverage tools like Bright Local and Whitespark to find important niche directories. I'm going to share some of those niche directories, plumbing specific, location specific directories, to give ourselves even more authority, to give ourselves even more citations. So then that's my recommendation. This is the tool. I want you guys to all put yourself through. It's called. You go to plumberseo.net/scan. But what it'll do is it'll pull up, tell us your name, address, phone number, and when you enter that, what it will do is it will run a report and show you, here's where there's inconsistency, here's where there's inaccuracy, here's where there's missing listings, and it's just a great way to get a sense. Okay, is there room for improvement here, or could this be fixed? I will say, thinking about Google Maps as an a la carte type of thing, you could do this yourself. You can claim your Google citations on your own. You can use a tool like Yext. It's definitely an option. But if you're thinking about your internet marketing as a whole, you're thinking about your website, how well it converts, the on-page optimization factors, your online reviews, your overall tracking strategy, how you maximize your lead flow. This is one piece of the overall puzzle. So, don't go too deep just on Google Maps and think, okay, I've solved my entire strategy, right? If you'd like us to look at this with you and show you where there's room for improvement, how we can leverage our agency status with Yext to help you get this done correctly, efficiently, we'd love, again, the opportunity to chat. So definitely use that tool, get a sense of what your current setup and situation looks like, and then make sure to manually claim and optimize Google My Business. Use a tool like Yext to push out to the main citations, get listed in the major data aggregators that I talked about prior, and then leverage tools like Bright Local Citation Finder or Whitespark to find some of those tier 2 and tier 3 citation listings. And I'm going to share a report with you guys afterwards. There's a lot of really high quality citations that aren't on Yext, that aren't touched through Bright Local, that you want to pay attention to, because if you look at the companies that rank at the very top in maps in your market, and you do an analysis of their link profile and their citation profile, there's tools like Whitespark again and like Ahrefs that do this, you'll see they tend to have more high quality citations and more online reviews. So we can solve for reviews and we can also solve for citations, and we do that by looking at what the most authoritative ones that most of them are in. And we've developed that list based on our experience, again, with hundreds of plumbing and HVAC contractors. Things like networks.com, contractors.com, Fixer, BuildZoom. I'm going to share a link at the end that you guys can download this list. But these are things you want to add yourself or have your team add you to build up that authority to improve the probability of ranking in the Google Map listings. Well, I hope you got value from that video. If you'd like more ideas, strategies, and techniques on how to really more effectively market your plumbing or HVAC business online, I'd like to invite you to go to plumberseo.net/checklist. There we've outlined the ultimate online marketing checklist for plumbing and HVAC contractors to really maximize your lead flow online. This really simplifies the entire online marketing equation into a checklist that you can easily identify what you should do next and what you could do to really probably double, triple, or even 10x the number of leads you're getting for your plumbing or HVAC business online. So you can get that completely free of charge, simple one-page checklist with a video that explains and kind of walks you through it. Just go to plumberseo.net/checklist. Talk to you soon.